today too. They actually had some photos of more Mortal Kombat stuff. Anyways, we don't have time for that, Ben. We've got a big show today. MetaMentors, episode number 29, with a little bit of a twist. Arcade. I'm psyched about this project. I feel like you've been holding out on me on this one. Here it comes. Arcade, an interoperable metaverse with fast action games for the entire NFT community. Not just one, not just Bored Ape Yacht Club's, entire community. That got my attention right away. Before we get into this, and we got a ton of cover here, I got a lot of good stuff. So you're definitely don't fall asleep on me, Ben. You're going to want to tune in today on this one. If you're watching this channel, thank you very much. We're going to get into a lot on this project. Very cool. If you don't have the whole time to spend with us, check the links below because you can kind of jump around and catch the good stuff there. Be sure to subscribe if you like what we're doing here because we are on our way up, just like NFTs, blockchains, and the Web3 world. So before I start running my mouth too much, Ben, I'm going to toss it over to you for the disclaimer and this week's news.
All right. Nothing you see on this channel can be considered financial advice. On with the news.
Yes.
So, yeah, I decided to shorten that up. Everybody says it, whatever. Anyways, moving straight on. Coinbase this week, actually, I believe it was last Friday, has a documentary. They partnered with Amazon Prime. It's available on Prime and YouTube and several of the other streaming services. It's called Coin. I'm just going to go ahead and play this trailer. It's about 2 minutes long, but it's well worth it.
Of the 90% of people who have heard of cryptocurrency, there's a small minority who have a glimpse of the larger picture.
There's this new technology.
It's crazy. One way to conceive of Bitcoin is it's the technology that allows us to move money over the internet.
It's a beautiful thing. You just have to trust the code.
2010, I happened to come across the Bitcoin white paper. In the evenings and weekends, I started tinkering.
The big idea was make Bitcoin easier to use.
I thought, maybe I'm crazy. This could have an enormous impact on the world.
Going public is for founders what winning an Academy Award is for an actor. Statistically, the chance is less than 1% for sure.
I was really shy as a kid.
Hello, everyone.
You can feel like your identity is wrapped up in this thing. So if it fails, I've failed.
Coinbase is a hosted Bitcoin platform.
We post it online.
We'd love to have you bring it. We'd love to have you help us.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know that I understand it.
A bunch of people used it. The day after, even more people used it. It goes from pushing a boulder up a hill to the boulder's rolling downhill and you're chasing it as fast as you can.
I blame myself, trying to hold on to this thing that I'm not great at.
Bitcoin kicked off the new year by tumbling.
It's down 50% from the record.
It sounds criminal.
Bitcoin is going to collapse.
If you don't have the ability to be beamed in the face and then get up and try and swing harder.
How dare you? Kind of was like chaos.
You're not meant to be an entrepreneur.
Eyeshadow, eyeliner, and belt on. We're ready to go.
Bitcoin is giving the power to the people. It doesn't matter their background, their race, ethnicity.
Speak now or forever hold your peace.
It's not a once-in-a-decade thing.
Change is going to happen.
It's a revolutionary human rights tool.
It's a once-in-the-history of the human race thing.
All of us ultimately want to change the world.
This is the time to do it.
Damn, that's how you start a show. That's
right.
What I'm talking about.
I know it pumps you up, it gets you going, and I feel like that's a good method to get some people who may not be Web3 enthusiasts, you know what I mean? Making it available on all of those platforms to be able to watch something like that.
Exactly. I was watching that and I was like, this is the video that I've been waiting for to show to like
Right.
my mother-in-law, to my people, my family. I'm like trying to get their attention, and they're like, too much.
A well-produced, well put together. I mean, they had all the big names on there. They had Michael Saylor, who's one of my favorites, and it's not about Bitcoin necessarily. It's about Coinbase, which is, is it a Fortune 500 company? It's a big company. It's traded on the stock market. It's one of the tech companies. You know what I mean? So it's like it'll get traditional investors who are just even interested in investing in a company like that. And when you see that, you get to kind of learn and figure out the Web3 blockchain crypto, and you hear all of those billionaires that they have talking about it. That's a great way to introduce a lot of people to it. So,
oh my God, yeah.
Available on Amazon. Let's see, I've got the link.
So it's out now.
It's out right now. Came out last week. Available to rent on YouTube, Amazon, all the regulars, but it's just called Coin.
Outstanding.
So, yeah. And I don't have the article up, but I did just happen to see that Coinbase is partnering with Google now, and they'll be accepting helping accept crypto payments, which is even better. Obviously Coinbase is a big player, but nobody's as big as Google. I mean, nobody's as big as Google on the internet. So that's a partner you definitely want to have if you're in the process of spending or making money.
I think they're dumping Amazon and going to Google, I think.
That's fine. They can do it. Second up is something that Ryan showed me. Now, this isn't exactly an article, and it's not exactly news.
Wait. That's not made for TV. Don't be showing that.
No, not those pictures. This is something different. This is 2 nights ago. Ryan sent me a thread on Twitter about how did she say it? So her name is Misha Da Vinci, and it says, Web3 is the future. If you want to master Web3 in months instead of years, follow these or study these in chronological order. And so she's got this thread here starting back from the white paper in 2008 from Bitcoin, and just goes down, and I don't know how many she's got, over a dozen of different years of different major articles, major papers, major things that have happened in the timeline of Web3 to really get a very deep understanding. I know Ryan has put hours and hours into trying to figure a lot of this stuff out, and it does take hours, and especially if you're going through and you're trying to find all the information before you learn all the information. And so I'm going to put a link to this gal's tweet in the description below, because it's really something if you're really interested in digging deep, even if you're not, this isn't a sit down and read in one night thing. This is save this tweet or save these, and it's all good information, and just start right with the Bitcoin white paper in 2008. And then she's got them all listed here. It's very
in
organized.
Chronological order, which is extremely helpful.
Yeah, you can just start at the top, and you can read one tonight, and you can read one when you wake up in the morning, and you can read one at work tomorrow, and just go down and
you start reading tonight. You're not going to be sleeping.
You might dig in. You're right, because that white paper, it really did. I don't know if there's been a better. It's better than just a good introduction into the blockchain. I don't know if there's a better paper, if you read it and understand it, that will pump you up about the whole process, the reason why this is even happening. But there's a ton of stuff about every different aspect of crypto up to this point, and it's super interesting and it's super detailed. And if you want to get a degree in Web3 and blockchain, you can do it in a handful of articles, and we'll post that link below. Very interesting stuff. Good find on Ryan, which reminds me, I'm going to retweet that out later after the episode under the MetaMentors. You can look us up on Twitter if you want to follow us, TheMetaMentors. That's our name on all of the social media. So we're going to retweet it so you can find it there, or we'll have the link below where you can find Misha Da Vinci's excellent crypto thread.
Yes. Thank you, Misha.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, it really is. Like I said, there's a ton of information out there, but there's a ton of junk to weed through.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of this stuff hasn't been processed into college-like courses yet, where it's like, this is what you need to know to learn this subject. So there's stuff all over.
Or better yet, third grade level for people like
right.
me.
Right. Yeah. College is out of it, but Web3, you've actually got a chance to really dig in and really, I mean, if you're watching this channel, you're probably in the top 10% as far as having an idea about what's going on in the Web3 world. And if you start at the top of this and make it through half a dozen articles, you're probably in the top 1% of the people of the world as far as understanding crypto, Web3, and blockchain.
Yeah, and tweet us or message us and let us know some of the interesting stuff that you're finding, because it is amazing as you go through these things. Sometimes you go over stuff, you don't think nothing about it, and then somebody else will say something about it down the road, and you're like, shit, I didn't even put 2 and 2 together on that. So I love when people share their perspective, because we tend to look at things in only our normal way of looking at things. And this is out of the box stuff. Huge.
Right. Yeah. If you want to break that, start reading about crypto, because that will get your brain out of the box. When you hear some of these experts talk about some of the things that they're planning to do with the Web3 industry, it's like, I wouldn't have even thought to even think about thinking that. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, I thought that industry was actually okay. And they're like, no. It's archaic. It's ancient. It doesn't work. It needs completely revamped. Everybody knows the banking industry it's time for them to die. But there's so many other industries that blockchain's going to revolutionize. And we've got the link to get your studies started. So
MetaMentors bringing it to you.
Also, now this is kind of an old article because it's 10 days old, but with the news that just came out recently this week about Elon Musk going ahead and redeciding to buy Twitter, this article makes it even more interesting, because I started reading another article on kind of like a gossipy website that was talking about some of his texts were getting leaked out to different people in the industry. And it was before he decided to buy Twitter, some of the ideas he was having for his social network site. And he still, even just within a week, has texted something about going ahead and buying Twitter because it'll bring him one step closer to, what did he call it? The X app or the X application. He's got some grand phone app in mind that'll have to do with social media and stuff. And he said Twitter was getting him one step closer. And some of these texts that he'd leaked out, or that, not that he'd leaked out, but that leaked out, was some of his plans to like eliminate bots and eliminate spam and make sure that everybody on the end of the line was who they were saying they were. And that was some of the stuff he was planning on using for his app. But now that he's going to be buying Twitter, they're thinking that a lot of that's going to transfer over. And one of it is obviously using the blockchain for several reasons. One, to where it makes a permanent record of anything that happens on there. So there's no deleting or backing out or, saying, no, I never said that. And two, to prevent spam, he was going to charge to post tweets, to be able to post onto Twitter, charge. But because you're thinking in the ancient archaic banking system, you're thinking, I would never pay to tweet. I would never pay. But he was saying, if you could pay on Polygon or Matic or using something like that, you could be paying half a penny or 1 penny, and if you think, I don't think I've posted 100 tweets in my whole life. So that's $1. You know what I mean? Like for $1, you could post 100 tweets. And he said that wouldn't affect a normal person. If you could just connect your MetaMask wallet, and say, I want to post this, and you do a gas fee, a little Polygon, 0.0000 of a Matic. But he said those people who spam and bot and send out thousands of, anonymous messages a day and who post all that kind of stuff, it will add up for them, and then it would,
prevent it.
It would prevent it
or a lot of
because, it wouldn't prevent all of it because it's still pretty cheap, but it definitely, just those massive bots. If what he was saying the first time he tried to buy Twitter is accurate, where like 40% of the accounts on Twitter were either bots or automated, then, I mean, if you think about all the traffic that Twitter has in a day, if 40% of those all of a sudden had to pay 1 penny per tweet, either Twitter would be hugely profitable or a lot of that would stop. And that would, and he was talking about actually like connecting your wallet, your Web3 wallet, to give you the blue check mark to actually identify you. So you would have, so it wouldn't be a fake account. So it wouldn't be this. You'd have a, maybe you get an NFT, you buy an NFT that says you are who you say you are. Then when you connect your MetaMask wallet, it verifies that you are who you say you are. You're a blue check mark, not because they verified you, but because the blockchain has verified you. And what he was saying was there would be nobody to limit the free speech because it would be exactly what you said. It would be on there, and it would just be, there's something about the rules with Twitter about if they decide what goes on and doesn't go on, then they're a production company,
media company.
As opposed
according to the law. Yeah.
Right. And so if it was an open source, what goes on, and that's how it is, then they can't be held responsible. I mean, that's like saying, I own a billboard in downtown Wichita, not a billboard, but like a cork board, and you can go put whatever you want on there. I'm not responsible for what goes on there because I don't regulate it, but I'm allowing anybody to put what they want on there. So that's what he's talking about. And if it's verifiable, if it's, you know who it is, and they eliminate even most of the bots, it would just really tighten up the operations and make Twitter a much more usable for every person, not just certain groups of people.
Possibly more fair.
Yeah. So since, like I said, this article is a couple weeks old, but just in the last week, he's agreed to repurchase Twitter. Not repurchase. He hasn't bought it yet, but he's re-agreed to purchase Twitter for the original $44 billion. So
yeah,
pretty cool. And that is
pretty
it.
Awesome. He's got a plan.
Yep. And it all ties
into
his, unless you want me to apologize for showing the wrong arcade metaverse last week.
No, I mean, I didn't know any different. And it wasn't until we dived into it further that we realized there's essentially three of them. The one that you thought it was or showed was not it at all. And turns out there was basically they had that the website looked kick ass, the name, the Vegas of metaverses. Right. And then there was nothing underneath the surface. Awesome. Nothing underneath. But as we looked back, having the 10,000 lands that it was claiming actually is the project that we're going to go in today, that I've got this cool green screen behind me. So
yeah,
I'm not even mad at you because we accidentally found a kick-ass project.
Right, a gem. So this one on the screen right here is what I showed last week that I said we were going to be getting into because I heard Arcade Land was awesome. So I looked up arcadeland.io, which is the typical metaverse website, and I thought, man, this does look awesome. And then it led me to, I ended up finding arcadeland.com, and I said, oh, because that one had nothing on it. So then we got to arcadeland.com, and I thought, well, this must be the one that they're talking about because it's got a whole bunch of different games. It's got 16 ways to earn, and the website actually is productive. It actually has links that work. So I was like, Ryan, this is the one that works. And he said, no, that's not the one. He said, I got the one for you, and it's arcade.inc. And this, we're going to be going back to arcadeland.com. Actually, I think that's what we'll be doing next week. But this week, we're going to be doing arcade.inc. Ryan will tell you the story about it. But yeah, this is the logo you're looking for with the classic retro arcade cabinet. So it just goes to what we were talking about with the Ember Sword coin, the crypto. Make sure you know what project you're looking for, because the project we even talked about last week ended up being the third best arcade land project on the metaverse that we could tell so far. Who knows? Maybe they are just under construction and we'll be talking about it later. But we decided to stick with the arcade and the arcade land NFT collection. So I will kick that back over to Ryan.
Yeah, we're trying to we can't cover enough ground on these metaverses fast enough, so we're trying to cover the ones that are, getting it done. And so we stumble across this one, and this is the project. These are the projects that I am looking for. Side note, it is not good when I find them, because then I've got to find money to put into these also. So on a manageable level, but for reasons I'm getting ready to go into on this, you'll see. But so here's the story with this. This project is very young. It's just over a year old, but their concept, and they're going into it. They're moving very fast compared to other projects, which is what makes this so obvious so awesome when we're comparing these projects. But so one of the co-founders, the main guy for this is a guy named Willie. And he's been a general manager of major companies like Uber. What was the other one? Cloud Kitchens. And he also has co-founded a website called NFT Scores that tracks these different NFT projects and kind of helps rate them. So we won't go into that too much on this episode, but it's a tool that I'm going to be using. But so here's the story with this. Like I said at the opening, interoperable metaverse with fast action games for the entire NFT community. We've talked about interoperable. That is one of the key words that when it shows up, I tune in, and I'm looking for two things. Are they just using it as a buzzword, or are they actually implementing it in their project? In this project, I am not going to do it justice. There is so much stuff that they're doing right on this project.
Right. Interoperable is a good word to use. Like you said, I don't feel like it quite says it enough, but as far as interoperability goes, this is the project you want to look at. They are inclusive, metaverse wide. Any project you've got going, they've got a lot of ways to get you into this metaverse.
Yes. And as we've talked about, and as we've seen, and as you investigate these projects, the metaverse is a big deal. And most of the people if you want to call them experts, or the ones that are making waves, realize, hey, I'm creating a unique project, but it needs to be coordinated, operable with these other metaverses, these other projects. That's what people want. They want to be able to go from one project to another one, one social environment to a game. They don't want to have all these separate channels going on. So without spending too much time, the story is it was founded just like a lot of these other. I like that. That one looks good. It was founded like a lot of these other projects. Is this guy Willie, who was a GM in basically mainstream America business of up and coming or big technology. You might have heard of Uber, like I mentioned before, Cloud Kitchens. Like these are top of the line tech companies, and he was working within those companies. He has a friend that is a big BAYC member, affiliate, contributor. And he gets a hold of him and he says, hey, we're going to create this game and I want you on board. It's going to be apes versus mutants that came out earlier this year, directly connected with BAYC. It's around that time that Willie is exposed to actual NFTs. And he had seen crypto stuff before, but he gets exposed to NFTs and it's got him. Like there's no turning back once he's been exposed to that. So they work on this game. And as they're working on this game, they're discovering, one of the biggest things they discover is people are telling them, hey, this is awesome that we can use these BAYC not avatars, NFTs, but I want to be able to use my own NFT. I want to be able to use my own BAYC NFT, or I'm not lucky enough to have a BAYC NFT. Could you create something that I can use my budget NFTs I got? And so boom, light bulb goes off. So they create this, they start creating this Arcade.inc, Arcade, and immediately they're bringing these other projects in, these other NFTs in. They're well over 70 now. I think they might have over 100 projects now. And in the beginning, they basically said, bring us your NFT, and it's going to cost you a mint charge, which they don't disclose, but it sounds like it's super affordable. Bring us your NFT and create this 2D pixel of it. I think it's 2.5 pixel. It's a little better than 2D, and we'll create it for you. Well, obviously, the idea behind this project takes off. And so now they're at the point where they're like, hey, get a hold of the project coordinators or the founders of your NFT and have them contact us. So they're getting this mass attention, and they're just wanting to go in and create this kick-ass environment. And they've got so many things right here, but I'm going to play a clip here in just a minute, but that goes over their core values, but I'm going to read them off to you real quick. Their core values are inclusive, simple, fast, fun, and exciting. A lot of those seem like no-brainers, but a lot of these projects we're looking at are so overly detailed, so overly complicated, so, need so much money that they're hardly getting off the ground, or if they are getting off the ground, they've got years to go. Their plan is to be simple, fast, fun, and then you've got inclusive and exciting. Inclusive is obviously the NFT projects, but think about that for a second.
Yeah. And immediate, like now. They're not doing a project that stick around because in 3 years we'll have a working product. They're simple, fast, fun, and fast as in it's coming out soon.
Yes. And something that's easy to overlook is what I just read to you and what I just told you are the core values for this company. You don't hear a lot of projects talking about core values within the Web3 sphere. That's because a lot of those projects are not founded by people that come with an actual business background that have been general managers out in the real world. Core values within a company are that's almost the baseline foundation of building a company. You create core values and you build a team around that so that everybody knows what you're going after. Because when if you're a cog in the wheel of a company and you know what the core values are, you have some freedom to create within those core values. You're not, you're not tied down. So
you don't have a dozen people heading in different directions going, I can't wait to make the best person-to-person video game, open world, blah, and another person going, actually, we're just making a simple game. That's what I think we should. You have your core values. That's what everybody in the company is achieving and striving for. And when you have a solid set of core values, you bring on people who are ready to head that direction. That way you don't end up with an overthought, overplanned, and underproduced project like some of these major NFT games, which I hope that they do come together. But going, here is what we are about, join the team and help us get there, is a much clearer picture than a lot of these groups that have just sort of assembled and they're like, I think we want to do it like this. And they just keep adding stuff onto it without ever having a workable project. So it's like you said, the core values, that happens in every real world company, but it's not really until you get to a bigger corporate level that they really start to talk about it, because then you start bringing on people, beyond just the owner and a few people to help them. That's when you start having managers and regional managers and district managers. And it's like, you have to make sure that everybody is pointed the same way, or else you're going to have people, groups, committees going everywhere, and you're not getting any of your work done.
Especially in the extremely fast-paced environment that is what is Web3 right now.
100%.
So let's hear a little bit from Willie on the core values of the project.
So at Arcade, what we want to do is there's a few key things. Okay? Our core value is inclusive, simple, fast, fun, and excitement. Okay, what we want to do is we want to include the entire NFT communities. The key is every community should be able to join this infrastructure, this Arcade metaverse. We want you to use your favorite NFT projects to come in. And then when you come in, we want you to help us build this world. Okay, I want you to build this world with your friends, with your community. People come in, they can socialize, trade, play, and earn. And also, you see some of these other NFT, other metaverse projects. You go in and you walk around. You're like, yeah, walk around in my own NFT. But then what, right? I mean, what else is there to do? So we have to give the community something to do, and this is where the game comes in. Okay, and we don't want to just include one game. We want to have multiple games. Just envision Ready Player One. Okay, when they come in, I assume everyone here has seen that movie. One of my favorite movies. Watched multiple times. Tons of Easter eggs. They go in. There's a lobby. People hang out. They make friends in the community, and then they go play a racing game. Then they go play a shooting game, and then you go play fighting games. You got to have things to do in these metaverses, right? So our vision is for you to live in the metaverse as your favorite NFT, and we want to create the inclusive, interoperable metaverse for popular NFT projects with top games for the entire community to build, socialize, play, and earn.
Boom. So I don't know why it just did that.
I'm just fiddling around in the background, so I'm trying to be producer and co-host. So if you're watching this episode, if you're watching this episode and it seems like we're jumping around, I'm just trying to stay on top of our cuts and edits, trying to make this a more watchable episode. We are taking suggestions if you want to leave us a comment below or, tweet at us on Twitter. Other than that, if it's too close to Ryan's face, if we need to do less solos of Ryan's face, let me know, and I'll shrink him back down.
Side note, Mountain Dew, if you're looking to sponsor us, Ben is 12 deep, so hit us up. So I mean, that was a minute and a half, super simplified, super concise, but a couple quick things I want to hit on. Your favorite NFT project, they want to incorporate it, the entire project. They're going to have multiple games. And he mentioned socialize, play. I can't even read my own writing here. Socialize, play, and earn. I can't believe I can't read that one. Anyway,
that's why you don't write anymore. We're living in a Web3 world. Just put it on the computer.
So
who writes?
God, shit. I'm sticking to writing. Maybe I'll just work. Anyways, that was super impactful to me because a lot of these projects, to the point that I haven't noticed, but this project, they're proposing that you come in, you can see it on the screen right here. Essentially, you enter this game or this metaverse into a portal. And your friends gather in that portal. There's a word for it with games, and you probably know what it is. I can't think of it. It's like a waiting room. What do they call that, Ben?
A lobby?
Yes, lobby. Thank you. So you enter into this lobby. Your friends enter in. Basically, once you get your group together, and you don't have to have a group, you can go on your own, but you enter into this group, and then you can socialize from here. So if you're just in this to socialize and hang out, whatever, boom, you've got it with this project right here. Socialize. You don't have to even play games, nothing else. I've got a couple clips. You'll see it a little bit later. I think even the beginning clip I might have played showed some of it. It did.
So before you play this, so you're saying we could start doing our pre-show meetings sitting around a campfire?
Yes.
I think that would be all right. Just sit there. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you can overlook stuff like this. The social aspect of, and I know you're not. I'm saying initially I didn't even pay attention to this, but as I started to get deeper and put more and more together, it was like everything was hitting me. They're creating a social aspect to start with. You enter on the social aspect. Then from there, if you want to, you go into the games, and there's, they're creating all these games. I'm going to play a clip here in a little bit, and they're creating an ass ton of games. So socialize, play, earn, they're full steam ahead. I'm getting excited here, so I'm gonna shut up a little bit here and let you kind of talk about the gameplay. But socialize and gaming. Let's go.
Okay, so as far as the games go, they have got a lot of stuff planned, and there's a lot of stuff coming, but they don't have a lot of stuff up right now. But they're expecting playable games by the end of this year. Isn't that what you heard, Ryan? By the end of 22, they will have playable games. They've got several different. The guy who's running the whole thing, he talks about the type of games he likes, and he wants all types of games because you're trying to bring in all types of people. So he said, player versus player, that's PvP and PvE games, which is player versus environment. So one of the main things that he's really pushing is the social aspect of this project. So player versus player or multiple players versus the environment. That's really what they're going for is, like Ryan said, you drop into the lobby, you hang out, you talk, and then you say, hey, you want to go race? Maybe the two of us get in a car and we go drive, or maybe we get in two separate cars and we race each other. So there's just a ton of stuff that they're working on. And because they're sticking to that simple, fast, and easy, core concepts, they're going to be very arcade style games, not AAA rated, Star Atlas, where massive multiplayer worlds, that are endless and that require so much space and time and creativity. These are going to be like simple style, which I think it really shows in the logo, that old, like I said, retro arcade cabinet. So you're looking at Excite Bike, Road Rash, Cruising Exotica, Cruising America, fighting games, Mortal Kombat, stuff like that. I think will be two things, like we talked about last week. It's going to appeal to a broader audience than just the Web3 familiars. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it will be.
You think if you haven't,
go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say if the city you live in or town or whatever has an arcade, and me, I'm a middle-aged man, I take my kids into this old school arcade, and my kids are like, all of these games are 25 years old plus, and they're digging the crap out, and they're like, they can't, it's a totally new world to them. And then I'm running around in a circle. I'm like, oh my God, I completely forgot about, I walked 2.5 miles and only had $1 worth of quarters to play, Right. So I'm all into it, but my kids are even in. And that whole spectrum. And then you got pinball, which has been around forever. So like my parents are, whatever it is totally
right.
Into it. So,
and I'm pretty sure Ryan and I have talked on the channel about games like Call of Duty or Destiny or stuff like that. It's like, if I was to sit down with somebody who's been playing Call of Duty for 6 months and try to play with them, I couldn't even compete. You know what I mean? Yeah. It would be, there's too much going on. I wouldn't even be in the ballpark. But the thing about these style of games, these classic arcade style of games, is you can bring in grandma or you can bring in a 5-year-old, and everybody's pretty much in the wheelhouse. There's 2 or 3 buttons. There's jump or punch. There's, left or right. And they're very playable. They're very enjoyable. They're very habit forming. They're addictive. You just try to get a little bit better the next time, and they're very social. The arcade, the beauty of the arcade was not the beauty of the home video game system. The home video game system allowed you to sit at home and do your own thing and connect through, and play other people in the world without ever leaving your house or, talking if you didn't want to. But the arcade was about going and meeting your friends, going and hanging out with your buddies, and just, shooting some basketballs, doing some racing games, spending some money, but just hanging out and having a good time.
Rocking out to the 80s classics.
Yes, exactly. That's what the feel is that they're trying to get with this metaverse project. And I think at least aesthetically, they're hitting it on the head. So he was just talking about all the different type of games they're going to have, the action fighting games. He said they're building their own games in-house. I'm sure a lot of the more simple. He was talking about puzzle games and, there's a certain style of games, you can kind of do a Pac-Man style or a Super Mario World style or a Tetris style, that's not technically Tetris, but everybody would jump in and know how to play. They're building their own games, but they're also partnering with studios that are making third-party games that may be a little more elaborate, or like, one of my favorite racing games was Cruisin' Exotica, and they did the Cruisin' America and Cruise, but just a little bit more going on in the graphics, still just driving, but a little bit more than some of, like Excite Bike, where it's just the brown dirt path. So, and one of the things with the gameplay, like Ryan was talking about with the inclusivity and the bringing in of all different types of NFT projects, is each NFT project and collection will have their own unique in-game bonus or powers. So the way it was sort of described to me is, say you bring in a zombie ape or something like that, like a zombie ape into maybe a racing game, they might be able to infect another person. Like there might be stuff, or if you bring in a radioactive ape, maybe he can make this other person radioactive, and maybe they both have some sort of bonus or something like that. Like there will be actual features from each project. And this is why they stopped. I don't know if they stopped, but why they requested not bringing in individual NFTs, but NFT projects. So if you're in the Crypto Apes, or if you're in the Whales, or if you're in, any of these major projects, it's like, well, if they can bring in the whole collection and have it ready to go, then anything with, let's say like there was a Mario themed one or a star power themed one. And if you brought in a star powered Mario, then you would have the benefits of the star that Mario has in video games. You know what I mean? Like special features.
Yeah.
That
and
are
I've got the
specific.
clip of that. I've got the clip where he talks about that. So that really got my attention. That
Right, which is really cool because like he was talking about in that little AMA that you just had, people really like coming in. I like going in and playing Mario, but if I could go in to a Mario game with a guy with a Wichita State hat and a fire department T-shirt and camouflage pants, it's like, oh, that's just way cooler to me. You know what I mean? That's just, and if you had like
relatable.
firefighter, it's relatable. And it's like, if you could take that and move that to each video game, and you're playing people from all over the world, then they can kind of get an idea of your personality and who you are really, not just your avatar, then it just makes the whole game more enjoyable. It's a more thorough experience.
Yeah. Relatable, immersive. Yeah. It just all the way around feels good.
So just to clarify, games are coming out by the end of the year. He said there will be special perks in game for landowners that enhance the arcade metaverse experience. Ryan's going to talk a little bit about the land projects, the land NFTs. He said they would have obviously like the action style role-playing games, the party games, puzzle games. He said, but almost all of them, if not all of them, are going to be public and like socially based. Like the goal is you won't get in two separate cars and not be able to talk to them or not know who you're competing against. Everything's going to be
metaverse style.
You're gonna get to meet some people. You're gonna get to go in there with your friends. He compared it to Ready Player One, and I know that's overused already in the metaverse talk, and we're gonna overuse it. But that's the field, and that's the end goal for every project is to warp in, meet your buddies, see what's up, say, hey, let's go do this game right here. Boom. Anybody who's ever been in a group chat knows how much better it would be instead of sitting there in a group chat and you're just all texting back and forth and you can't keep up. If you could jump into like that fire pit, that Ryan was just showing that clip in the background, and sit there and talk and hang out with your buddies, and then be like, hey, yeah, this right here. And then say, hey, we should go. You guys want to go race? You guys want to jump over and do some wilder wheels and go
Yes.
go for a cruise, and you can hang out and talk, and you're still just talking about your kids and your kids' sports games and your kids' teachers and everything else, but you're actually competing and playing and having a pretty good time. And it doesn't matter if one of you isn't a video game nerd. Everybody can jump in and be competitive and play and have a good time.
Why you're earning crypto? Like and
it's a play
to earn. Yeah.
I forgot. I mean, that's a whole nother aspect of it. Is it's also technically a play to earn, so you can be earning as you're playing, making stuff. I mean, you can go around with your group with the intent of making money, and if you get a good group, a good guild, you could do some real damage in these. And again, he mentions it in that AMA, is that these simple games, the intent is to really onboard them, especially mobile gamers. Mobile gaming's so huge right now. And if they're not familiar with Web3, but they enjoy the simple gaming, the Flappy Birds, the Angry Birds, the stuff you play, that your grandma plays on her cell phone, that is going to onboard a bunch of people into the Web3, and Arcade.inc. Again, we're looking at projects that are the ones that want to be the onboard, the on-ramp to the metaverse. And Arcade.inc is the launch pad that's going for a lot of these simple games. So
clearly one of their biggest goals. I got a long clip here, but we're gonna stop it as we go because there's so much good stuff. A lot of it is what you're already talking about from this AMA. Before I do, let me just note, because I can't remember if it's in this section or not, but you don't have to own any NFTs to play this game. They have their own generic ones that you can use. So you can actually, which is a big part of that, getting people into the Web3 from Web 2, is you don't even have to own any of this stuff. You don't have to have a digital wallet or anything to play these games. But let's get into this AMA and we'll stop as we go along.
Second main feature is we want to build a world that you can explore. I want to build a vast world in the Arcade metaverse. And this is kind of come into where the land comes. We want you to build a habitat for each NFT collection, something that you care about, a world that you guys can impact, lands for you to earn and explore. Okay, and then the land itself will come in different sizes, different region. Larger land will receive more rewards. Later on, they could be more tokens, resource, perks, spaces, unique access. I don't want to, tell everyone all the secret sauce or everything that's coming after, but there will be, for example, Megaland will have their own unique structure. This is something that you tend for collection to set up headquarters, and then they will have unique access that only Megaland owner can have. And each region, I think we show some regions on the website already. There are different regions that will produce different resources. They will have different conditions, and then each region can also, you can create items, and those are only region specific. Right? So we want to build this world that, have different experiences, and while people are exploring it, it will be exciting.
Okay, so let's break down some of that land stuff a little bit. And one of the other things about this project that was really nuts is the sheer amount of information that they have that's available. And some of it was a bit hard to find because there is so much of it. I basically ran in circles, but okay. So and again, we'll have these links attached to this video so that you can actually find these. Boy, my battery must be dying. Okay. So you've got this arcade land, and this is at, well, I can't even read it. arcadeland.notion.site. Is it Notion? Am I saying that right, Ben? So let's start with regions and size. And Ben was just showing some of this map. So there is so much good stuff with this land that they're doing here in these regions. But you have 5 regions, and you've got the jungle here. You've got frozen. Pronounce that one for me, Ben. Dystopia?
A dystopia. Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Chaos, basically. Volcanic. And then you've got moon.
That one's pronounced moon. Moon.
Say it with me. It's the 3rd grade education. That's in 4th grade. I only made And then, so here's the rarity of these. So essentially there's more jungle. There's more jungle pieces. Where's it at? At 1600. Then Dystopia, you've got 1300, Volcanic 1000, Frozen 700, Moon 400, and a total of 5,000 lands there, which I was thinking it was 10,000. So I'm wondering.
Yeah, there's 10,000 total. It looks like 10,000 in the region and 5,000 in the region and 5,000 in the underground.
I didn't even notice that before. That's the first time I've seen that. Anyways, the point here is there's rarity here based on, which region you're in. Moon is the most rare because there's the least amount of them, only 8% of the total of the, in 400 total. So only 8% of, it looks like 100%. So anyways, you get the idea. So within these regions, you have 4 plots of land within all the regions. You've got Mega, which by far has the most attributes, is going to have basically, they're going to get the best of the best, whoever owns the Mega. And of course, there's a minimal amount. Then you've got the extra large land, large, and then standard. And I'm going to show the pricing on these on OpenSea. They're, in my opinion, they're extremely affordable, at least from extra large down. Let me get down here a little bit. I thought there was some more details here. Okay, yeah. So then it breaks them down from regions into, Mega, large, extra large, and standard, and it tells you how many are there. So again, point being is you can go on here and look at this information and help dissect. So when you're over on OpenSea, let me jump over there. I did try and making these transitions smoother, Ben, but I didn't find anything that made it real obvious. Where is it? Okay, OpenSea. All right. So you're looking at those regions and the percentages, and you're kind of figuring out, because obviously the goal is to get the rarest piece you can get for whatever your budget is, because obviously there's more value there. So here on OpenSea, you can see the activity. And again, here's this project hitting home runs again. You have 51% of the owners are unique owners. That's very high. That's awesome for a project. There's over 5,000 owners. Again, a lot of people in this project, which means the more people that are in, and I don't think we've really talked too much about this, but the more individual people, different people that are within a project, the more secure that project is, because you can't have one owner or a couple get together and affect values. Or
if somebody owns half of the land and they decide to not play anymore, that project slows way down. If you have 51% of them are owned individually, half the people are owned. It's not all owned by one whale or somebody who just bought them just for speculation and is just holding on to them for later. If you have 51%, individually owned, there's a lot of activity. There's a lot of possibilities. There's a lot of buying and selling. There's a lot of movement in the market, and that is what you want in a project.
Speaking of a lot of movement, look, it jumped up here, so you can see it's kind of just been, because we're in this bear market, and then it popped up here, and then popped up here.
I announced that we were doing Arcade Land on Twitter, so it probably bumped up, people trying to get a hold of the next MetaMentor project.
Yeah, I'm sure it has nothing to do with the reintroduction of the mutant project that they've got going on, that they're not releasing a whole lot.
You know what? Did that just change today?
Yeah, today.
That load screen. So they just put a new NFT, the mutant apes or whatever, on there. Further fueling the speculation that they are deeper in bed with Yuga Labs than most people think. And if you think this stuff, it'll be fun to come back to this episode and these prices that you're looking at right now on the screen.
This is ridiculous.
It's absolutely affordable. And I think that once word really gets out about who's involved with this project, I think you'll never see prices like that again.
That is the real question with this project. Like you and I on our pregame yesterday, this is one of those few projects that I got into and it didn't take me long. And immediately my thought process went to where is the shoe going to drop on this project? There is too much going on that makes complete sense with this project. And yet the pricing is incredibly cheap. Now that's for a standard plot, obviously. And like we talked about, as you go up in size, we'll just go all the way to mega here. The more attributes you have, and I'm going to jump back to that. I'm trying to move through this. You jump up to mega, obviously now you're getting up to basically 10 ETH, and then it quickly goes up from there. Now there's very limited in mega size, so that is to be expected. But if you go to extra large, which is just the one under it, now it's quite a bit smaller, but it's still a very good size. The cheapest one there is just under half an ETH. So there's a massive price difference there between mega and extra large. You need to do your own homework and see what the value is there, because then you start getting into the, well, do I buy just one of these, or do I buy two of these or three of these? And Willie does make the comment in the AMA that you as a landowner, you're better off owning an extra large as opposed to 2 standards or 3 standards or whatever. So they've got some plans there. But okay, so it's a land available there, OpenSea, and you can also see, look, last sold 0.82, so like double. Last sold 1 ETH, 1.34 ETH. So a lot of these again are a sign of the bear market and are dropping off. Here's that mutant return, man, dude. This project is up to something. Okay, so
I'm gonna buy some land. I'm gonna buy.
This is the one. Finally,
you're gonna buy some land. At these prices, you can't not buy a little piece of it. I'm just looking at the artwork on there. They've got like a Christmassy themed one. We're getting in. Halloween's just about to be over. I'm gonna get a piece of that. I'm gonna buy a little Christmas land this week when my account gets its direct deposit from my wife's job.
Don't tell Adam.
Yeah. Shh.
So, okay, so you've got the regions. We kind of went over the size. We talked about the rarities. We talked about the actual land. You've seen the map, and it just keeps going. So you can also put land, and different buildings represent different things. You've got restaurant, food and beverage, goods and service, utilities, headquarters, billboards, so forth. All of these buildings are built to bring you income as a landowner. You can also take on tenants on your land, depending on the structures you've got. So you've got all these different avenues. Let me go back here. I want to find some of the highlights of the land. So you got here, landowners receive portion of the earnings from all residents on their land. Just like in real life, landowners receive passive income from the residents. Landowners rewarded for the resources, total population that's on it, and then you get into the buildings. Buildings can be personalized, unique, different types of buildings, different utilities, get additional earnings creating different buildings to set up businesses. I mean, a simplified game, fast, fun, interoperable, and yet they're putting all of these pieces in, which is nuts. Now, I got a little fun clip here I want to show you. Is this the right one? Yeah. Okay. I got to jump screens again. Start juggling, Ben.
And hit it.
I need a better mouse. I need a new battery or a better mouse. Okay, here we go.
We need a lot. Hit it. There we go.
Yeah. Okay, here it is. Just on cue. First try. All right, check this out. Your version of Beast Burger on Arcade?
I'm telling you, I love it. I love it.
Yeah, and did you see those graphics? I mean, that's not, those are kick-ass graphics.
I kept going, oh yeah, nice pizza. I would do pizza. Oh, sushi. I would do. Oh yeah, I just kept seeing stuff that I thought was pretty awesome. Everything there looked good. This first one, I first thought, oh, you turn your whole restaurant into a stovetop. You're cooking some ham up top. That is perfect. And then it was like, oh, actually, that looks pretty good. Oh, that looks good. Oh, you know what I mean? Like, and then pizza, I thought, oh, that could be a can of Mountain Dew up there.
Yeah,
That's a hell of a project.
Yeah, they're killing it. And so, and I'm trying to get through these as quick as possible. Otherwise, this episode's going to be hours, which honestly, I almost don't care because it's so worth it. But we'll end up revisiting it. But let me bring up the team here because I didn't even. Yeah, so check out this, and I know you've seen this. Look at this website they put together. Again, it's simple, concise. Goes into the land. Here's our vision. You know, we've talked a little bit about that. So arcade land, here's some of the, you're going to get with land, you're going to get drops, community from the landowners, access to additional drops and merch events and earning, rent, advertise, launch stores, create. I mean, got it going on here. It goes into the land, which we talked a little bit about. Here's some of the projects or a lot of the projects that have come on board with them that have NFTs. Some big names here. Gets into
I will say, especially about the brands and stuff that are coming on board. One of the things that they had mentioned in that AMA was not only were they bringing in a whole lot of brands. Hold on, I made a note of it somewhere. Oh yeah, they're going to be pulling a whole bunch of brands into this arcade metaverse. They're going to be having all of these people have lands, have projects. You know, all the NFT projects will have a little area, but even real world brands, you know, Nike, Adidas, all the ones that are showing up in the other ones, they will have a spot in this arcade metaverse. But then they said arcade metaverse is really also going to be going out into the real world. They're going to be branching out. So they're going to be pulling brands in, but then the brand Arcade.inc is going to be going out in the real world with real world events and like merchandise, logos, stuff like that. So I thought that was really cool because most people talk about bringing in a lot of these different businesses and other major companies, but they were talking about, they're going to be bringing in and they're going to be making a real world presence to get more people who otherwise wouldn't find a metaverse project going out and getting people from the real world and bringing them into Arcade.inc.
Yes, making that bridge. And picture the difference between, and not saying anything bad or anything, but you've got a very well-known Web3 person over here creating stuff like known in the community, and they're going out to talk to Nike or McDonald's or whatever. Or you've got Willie, whose background is general manager of Uber, Cloud Kitchens, you know, like, and he's going out talking to these businesses. Like, so you can see how much pull something like this might have, especially when he's talking about, you know, he talks business to them. He knows how to talk that language, and he's incorporating NFTs. And, you know, so I'm speculating here, but you could see how that happens. So here's the team, or at least part of it. They've got, you know, a lot of people. They've got some funny names here. Chief Beverage Officer, like, you know, which if you're
what was that?
If Chief Beverage Officer.
How do I get that job?
If you're, I mean, think about it. If you're in there coding away, like, you know, getting to town, you need to have those beverages. You don't want that person to stop. It makes me think of Silicon Valley, that episode where where he's in there hacking away and they kick down the door. So,
I love that episode.
I do too, for other reasons than the kicking down the door.
For a lot of reasons,
If you don't know what we're talking about right now, you need to pull that up.
If
you're not easily offended.
Fun fact, they were talking about kind of revamping Silicon Valley with more of a, like Mike Judge, the creator, with more of a Web3 rather than Web 2 background, like more of getting into the crypto and stuff. They were talking about starting some new seasons for Silicon Valley and doing it, you know, where they're branching into Web 3 projects. And I thought, man, if they would do that, that would be huge, because Silicon Valley was crazy popular on HBOs. So
well, yeah, and it'd be a kick-ass way to onboard people that aren't even familiar with this stuff, kind of like the coin that you played. And anyways, I'm kind of hijacking this show, but I'm in love with this project, man. Okay, so if you'll allow me, I'm going to play some more of this AMA so we can talk some more.
Okay, go.
Gosh dang this mouse. I got to see if I got a battery in the drawer. Sorry,
I want to be in the metaverse, but
okay, now you have the people in there. You have the world structure in there. Now what? What do we do with the community? Yeah, all the metaverse can hang out, chat. We can do all the social stuff. Definitely, we'll have those. We also want to input some trading system, e-commerce. We want to expand this world not just to the NFT community. We want to expand this world to the real life brand as well. We want to pull in big brands in as well, so that they could be part of this Arcade metaverse. But in addition to that, then what, right? I come in like, hey, I'm with my friend, I'm with Becca, I'm with you. Like, what can we do? Well, let's play games together, right? That's the whole idea. We congregate. I want to play with my friends. So what we're going to do first, we're going to build, as you've seen, we built a game already, Ape versus Mutant. That's a single player one, but I think important for the community is build a multiplayer game that is PvE, that's PvP. One thing that I want to focus on first is a PvP game, and it could be a battle between different collections, leaderboard, rewards, different type of competitions that really engage the community. And this is what we're building first. But again, it won't be the only game, because like I said, not everyone want to play one of these action fighting games. So we'll be also in-house building additional game, and we want to work with third-party game company. There's a lot of games studio out there. They're building great games. They need a venue to come out and have players play. We want to partner with them so that we give you guys as much thing to do as possible in the Arcade metaverse. In addition to that, I myself are a hardcore gamer. I sometimes play tons of different type of games. So I want the unique experience that comes with it. So what we will also incorporate in the metaverse experience and the game itself is there will be different unique abilities, perks, or attributes that ties in with each collection that we partner with. And I want to engage and involve the collection for this experience. For example, while we're building out this Diablo type of a multiplayer game, BAYC could have slower attack but higher damage. Cool Cat could be moving faster. Sneaky Vampire, every attack they can recover some health. Zombie Club character attack will poison the opponent. There will be different aspects, and everyone will feel proud to use their own NFT. Of course, there's a lot of game balance. You're like, Willie, what about game balance? What about somebody who's OP? Yes, as you've seen a lot of these other games, there will be updates and balance and all that. But of course, I want to give everyone the unique experience building this world and having fun and excitement in the Arcade metaverse. Right.
So there's that part that you were describing. I mean, that's pretty damn creative. The vampire, his power is if he bites you, the BAYC gorilla is stronger. Your mic's off.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super, I mean, it's like
that's genius. Because rather than just having the aesthetic of, oh, well, yeah, it's just a different skin, basically, like any other one would have, like the Bored Ape or whatever. It's like that would be a good idea, because then you'd look like the player you want to look like. But the fact that, well, yeah, an ape would be stronger than a human or a zombie, and a shark would swim better than, you know what I mean? So yeah. I'm trying to think of, I need a list of all the NFT projects, because when we get on these episodes, my mind goes blank and all I can think about is Bored Ape Yacht Club. But
I know there's so many of them. Okay, let's keep going.
All right, let's go.
So, like I said earlier, there were about 40 projects that are currently in the pipeline. There, just want to also give everyone an update. There's more than 100 projects that are currently in the pipeline that I know we have to hold off a bit, because this will actually take a lot of toll on the team. And we've begun this project really full scale. Let's see, 2 months, and the first month was just building out the team. We have currently around 40 to 50 people, split between developer, designer, community member, marketing, and very importantly, business development. business development enable us to partner with other NFT projects. And then also, we're not only partnering with NFT projects. Like I said, I think any part of the Web3 is something that we can partner with. And I want to partner with brands in the real life that can shine in this Arcade metaverse.
So there you go. There's touching on exactly what you've been speaking about and echoing about, bridging that gap, bringing what we know is the world today into the Web3 world by having fun and paying and just creativity. And actually, he just hit on it. I'm gonna play 15 seconds here because I think this is super impressive.
2-3 more games by the end of the year and incorporate, let's say, I think we can definitely do 150 to 200 different type of project into the Arcade metaverse.
So there you go. By the end of the year, rolling out games, thinking and predicting they can get 150 to 200 more projects incorporated by then.
That's crazy. That's huge.
That seems, compared to some of the other stuff that we've been looking at, it's mind blowing.
And they've got it again because they're set up in a pretty limited scope. Their world that they're doing simple, fast, and easy and enjoyable. They're not having the massive open world stuff that they're talking about. So they can onboard a lot of these NFT projects a lot faster because they're not worried about so much of the backstory and so much of the graphics and how they're going to run all that stuff on such a big engine. The games are simple. So it's like you find a good game that's fun to play and you can focus on the social aspect and you can focus on the onboarding these NFT projects. So I think they've got their minds in the right spot. In 3 to 5 years, there might be some games that really have some great graphics, some AAA games that really are, at the level of the Halos and the Call of Duties now. But that's 3 years away. And 3 years in any market is a long time. And in the crypto market, that's a lifetime. So if they could be up and running soon and be running for the next 3 years, they're going to have first person advantage and they'll be the market maker. You know what I mean? They'll be the one that sets the tone for the rest of it.
Yeah. And there is, one of my favorite and biggest projects I'm investing in is Illuvium, and it's a massive game and they're coming on quick. They're a complete what do I know? But they're basically opposite of what these guys are doing. But I'm investing in there. I'm definitely buying in here very quickly. What was mobile gaming. Everybody knows, like you talk to anybody, they tell you mobile gaming is where it's at. Like, period. If you can, you need to roll out your game on mobile gaming first. If you cannot do that, you better be on mobile or in mobile
soon,
real freaking quick outside of your initial launch. And so obviously games like this are much easier to roll out on mobile. And if you have, dozens or hundreds of games, maybe not all of them, you get 5 of them out on mobile initially, and then you're rolling them out. You're not waiting years, like you just said, to get this major project out on mobile. So it just seems like such a strong business model, business plan with what they're doing here. I've got really that's the project, man. I've got some notes I just would like to highlight as we're wrapping up, but I want to make sure that I give you a little more airtime because I feel like I've dominated this.
Yeah. One thing that I was looking up, I was looking for a specific token, and they talked about how with onboarding a lot of these projects, and because they're deep in with Yuga Labs, a lot of the smarter people in the projects or in the space said that ApeCoin would be one that they were going to be using. The guy who runs the whole thing, he did mention that they would be using a whole bunch of different tokens. Like basically you'd be able to come in, they would either have an exchange or have some sort of an economy that you could use tokens from all these different projects. But maybe the biggest or the most obvious would be ApeCoin, because they're the ones that doing the mutants and the BAYC and everything with Yuga Labs. So one of the things that you can do if you're looking to get a hand on this, I mean, to be honest, I was just telling Ryan, I spent a little over $100 today on, let me see if I can pop this up. I spent $100 today on Coinbase buying ApeCoin because it's $4.72 right now. And so I just bought, a little over $100 worth, but at its highest, I think it was at 27. Its all-time high was 27.51. So it's obviously on sale, but it's a very strong coin with a huge, powerful community. So now is a really advantageous time to buy. So I bought some of that thinking, because like we talked about, the tokens for me is one of the easiest ways to get on board with these projects. But then as Ryan's going over the land, I'm looking at it, for another $70, I could have bought, just a standard chunk of land, one of these little Christmas ones. So I might be, I'm not going to say I might, I will be buying some of the land this week or next, even if it's just one of these small ones, just to get my hands on that. Cause I just think this project really is cool. I've got some ape coins, and when I was looking for another token, I came across two different arcade pages, Arcade.inc, which has it just seems to be a list of all these metaverse projects, which Ryan and I are going to be going over later. I'll put a link to that in the description. And then I found Arcade.city, which is an arcade-based metaverse, and its website just says soon. So I assume there's going to be some. Yeah, let me check this out.
That's catchy. You got me.
Can you see that? Yeah. Yep. It looks like Google Earth, and it just says soon. So, and here's that other website I was looking at. So I was looking for a token, and instead I found these two more arcade websites. So Arcade, Arcade Land, Arcade.inc. There's a lot of people with that name, and they all have the same idea, is a very recognizable gaming word and a very quick way to onboard a lot of people. So make sure before you invest in anything, you know which thing you're investing, because I believe this one right here that you're looking at on the screen has a token. It doesn't have very much activity, but if you were trying to buy arcade land or an arcade token, you could probably make a mistake and get something that has a project that may or may not take off. So
very easily.
One of the things when you're on OpenSea looking at these projects, just like on Twitter, if you can find one with a blue check mark, that is a verified account. And you'll see that doesn't mean some of these other ones aren't from there. I wonder how far I got to go back here. Hold on one second. I'll just show you right now what I'm talking about. Arcade land. Doesn't mean that it is, but it maybe was advertised incorrectly. So here's the blue check mark, and then here's some other ones. And if you're buying from anything like that, there's a chance that you could be getting something that is not what you're thinking. So look for the blue check mark. That's a verified wallet that you can buy these from, and that's a good place to start your search. And then if you've got a blue check mark, typically the links and stuff that come off of that will also be good, because if you just Google arcade metaverse, you're going to find all sorts of projects. Before I let you finish up, one other thing I was going to say, depending on what project you're looking at, some of them really focus on their YouTube channels, and some of them don't put too much effort into their YouTube channels. Ryan and I are big YouTubers. That's where we do a lot of our work. This project's official YouTube page has 154 subscribers and 6 videos, and I think 3 of them are shorts. So they don't put a lot of thought into it, but they have a very, very active Twitter. They post videos, they keep people updated, they do competitions. So it's not their social media that is lacking. It's just they just don't focus too much on YouTube. So that doesn't always tell the story. If you're looking up arcade land, NFT project on YouTube, and you're not finding what you want, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's not a good site, because this one specifically goes heavy on Twitter, and they've got a very active Twitter. So it's still a good project, still a great thing to look at. I just was caught off guard when I was looking for their videos, and they've got 154 subscribers.
There was not much, and there's not too many YouTubers that have done this either, which was very surprising. Although if you spend a good amount of time digging and digging and digging, like we have, you do come across more. I was still coming across more today, which I'm glad you brought that up, because there was a couple things there. One of the things I noted is they started doing a monthly newsletter or monthly update letter. I think in April or something like that. And they got 4 of them out. The last one was July, and then they haven't produced one for the last couple months. So I saw that, and that kind of was a little bit of a flag. But as I got further in, like you said, into their Twitter and stuff, and with these projects, there's so much going on. Maybe the person that was doing their newsletters left for somewhere else, or, there's all these different things. There's so much going on. They, probably don't have a designated YouTube person, but so just something worth noting and taking into account.
Well, if Ryan and I weren't already spearheading the next great crypto YouTube channel, we would volunteer to be their YouTube person, because like I said, I think both of us agree that this project's got a lot going on, and I think it's something we're going to be getting a piece of and keeping track of. So if you're interested, follow along with us, because this is a project that will be definitely keeping our eyes on.
I dig the music. Yeah, absolutely. One closing note before you play the trailer for the next episode, I just real quick want to hit again. I don't know. I've not seen another project, and I'm sure there is, and maybe I'm not remembering one that we've covered, that is acceptable, or their plan is to accept currencies from other projects and not creating that's another feather in their cap of trying to be an interoperable, trying to draw in everybody, that you can use other currency from other projects or the projects invested in this, arcade. That was another thing that caught my attention.
That could be huge, because they're already bringing in other NFT projects. So you're introducing a lot of different communities into this project. And by allowing people to spend money that they've got, in whatever token or currency they're using, that's great.
It just makes it so simple. It makes you, I'm repeating myself. I'm excited about the project. I'm ready to get in here and kind of dissect some of the rarity and get some stuff bought. So, and doing follow-ups on these. It's a good one. It looks like.
I agree. And like I said, so last week we introduced one arcade project. This week we found 3 arcade projects. We did one today. Next week we're going to do another one, which may not have all of the backing and the Yuga Labs support that this one does, but it has a lot of things that set it apart. We're going to watch this trailer real quick, and then I'll show you one clip that Ryan showed me on Twitter again that does make it stand aside. So this is arcadeland.io. Well, the one we did today is Arcade.inc. So I think this one is arcadeland.com.
Yes, I think that's right.
All right, let's check it out.
Turn that up.
So
no blockchain required on it, huh? But 16 different ways to earn.
Yeah, which is similar to the project we were looking at today. You don't have to have blockchain, or you don't have to have your access to the blockchain to get going, because they were basically doing the same thing. They were onboarding people. They were bringing them in with the lure of good arcade games, and then they will introduce them to more NFT style, blockchain style, and it's basically then you bring them in. It's the business plan of every freemium game you've seen on the cell phone for the last 5-10 years, where they say, here's a free game. Also, if you want a power up, it's only 97 cents. And then you buy it. And then it's like, also, if you want another 100,000 tokens, it's only $3.99. And then next thing you know, you've spent $100 on the game. So they bring them in with the good stuff, and then introduce them to ways to enhance their experience. And it's not like they're tricking them. It's just, hey, do you want to, maybe start earning some NFTs, or maybe start paying $5 a month, but having a chance to earn $10 a month, you know what I mean? And actually getting into the play to the earn strategy. So we're going to go over this one next week. And one of the things, just real quick, we'll talk about it next week, but they just posted this week on their Twitter. The difference between the arcade project we did today is they're making new games, and they're bringing in people to make new games, and they're making basically not untitled games, but like I said, a Tetris-like or a Pac-Man-like or a Mario-like game. But this project has copyrighted games on their platform. So the one that caught Ryan's eye, because he knew it would catch my eye, is The Simpsons. I mean, so that's a Disney
Classic
product
game.
now. Yeah, I mean, that's awesome. And it's a classic arcade game. It's a hugely popular favorite at actual arcades. So having a Simpsons game, and they have several like this, but it was like Simpsons, that just came up this weekend, and Ryan knew that I would like that. And I thought, oh, well, if you've got a project like this that's doing actual copyrighted, patented material, that has the permissions. Oh yeah, you're immediately getting communities. You're getting Simpsons fans, that's been on the air for 30 plus years. You're getting Simpsons fans coming over here to play this, because to find an arcade, to find a real world arcade that has that game anymore, or to, find an arcade period, is tough to do. But knowing that you can get on there and play this game for free or for cheap, you're bringing in a whole nother community, and there's a whole bunch of games like it. So next week, Arcade Land.
Yeah, going to be awesome. Drawing in a whole new crowd, may not even know anything about Web3 or crypto, but know The Simpsons.
Not yet, but they will.
Oh, yeah. All right, good episode, Ben. We'll see you on the next one.
That was a lot of information.
We talked really fast on that one. I'm going to, if I can get my mouse over there, in broadcast.